Hello everyone. Just getting used to getting my streaming software back up. It's got a few gremlins in it. But thank you everyone for joining me. I appreciate we've gone live 2-3 minutes early. It's towards the end of lunchtime here in the UK, so thought we'd get cracking and see how things go. So today I'm going to be going through and presenting some findings from an audit that we've done at SALT, looking at travel biases with AI and what we're calling the Zika gap. So this research explores a dangerous blind spot in generative search and the omission of high-stakes health context in travel recommendations. Specifically with this, we've looked around the Zika virus and baby moon searches. Now, across 22 terms, grouped into intent clusters, we've tried to understand this. We've performed this deep dive. We've focused on baby moons, what engines have collected information from about 150 different websites altogether. Now, baby moon is a high-risk demographic where health information isn't just helpful, it's vital and can be long-term, even beyond the baby moon. So baby moon demographics typically really kind of going back, why focus on baby moons? So expecting parents, a uniquely sensitive traveller group, they have a limited window in which they can travel. Now, standard AI travel logic usually balances price versus luxury. However, for this group, biological safety must come first, and we wanted to see if AI models could distinguish between a vibe and medical risks. So with this and how we put together our methodology, just some quick overviews on this. So we used the Ahrefs brand API endpoint with Brand Radar to capture real-time generative responses from major search engines. We tested queries like best baby moon destinations 2026. And then crucially, we then cross-referenced them across AI suggestions against the most recent CDC, World Health Organization transmission data to check your accuracy, as well as some historic YouGov data. Now, this is where we come to the omission problem. So we found a fundamental conflict in AI logic. Now, on the left, you see the vibe priority. AI is excellent at selling the dream, infinity pools, white sands. But on the right, we see the safety vacuum. And because AI is trained to be helpful and pleasing, it often ignores the negative risks and constraints like health advisories unless specifically asked to do so. So putting this in context of the Zika virus. So Zika is spread by the, I'm going to do run risk, the Aedes aegypti mosquito. It is directly linked to severe birth defects. Now, medical consensus is absolute. Pregnant women should avoid risk zones, yet we'll see AI models frequently ignored this absolute medical boundary. Now, in our data, we found that 82% of responses omitted Zika risks entirely, and even more concerning, 65% of the responses actively recommended destinations that are currently high-risk zones according to the CDC and World Health Organization, and only 18%, which is less than 1 in 5, concluded a basic medical disclaimer. Going one step further and looking at some of the high-risk hallucinations, the specific failures were mainly around Mexico and the Caribbean. Now, omission rates were as high as 91%. Now, these destinations were described by AI as tropical paradises or ultimate luxury with zero mention of their current Zika status or active monitoring needs. This also leads to an algorithmic bias. So really, why is this happening? It's what we're going to call the popularity trap, and only 1 in 10 responses prioritize safety. The models are trained on a massive amounts of travel blogs, marketing copy, which rarely include medical footnotes. And the AI assumes that because a place is popular, it is safe because it doesn't have the working and grounding to work on. Now, ethically, we believe there are 3 ethical imperatives for AI developers to look into in this context of travel. First, your contextual awareness. AI must need to recognize that a baby moon is a health-sensitive query, a YMYL. Second, real-time synchronicity. AI must have a live handshake with the CDC, WHO databases. And third, a responsibility. Platforms must acknowledge the moral and potentially legal risk of these omissions. So really, to kind of wrap it up in a single takeaway quote to summarize, AI is excellent at producing a polished itinerary, but that itinerary is often built from the same ingredients, regardless of a biological risk to the traveler. We cannot allow aesthetic output to replace medical safety. Now, as a travel brand working in this way, just to kind of close off with some of my thoughts on this, we need to look at how we can better inform AI around this. Now, we don't want to put people off traveling to our destinations, and it's really difficult to use pregnancy as a demographic because it doesn't happen at the same stage in lifestyle and doesn't happen at the same stage of year. It's a very imponderably complex variable to try and manage. But at the same point, we want our customers and our travelers to be safe. We want them to enjoy what will be their travel and brand experience, and we want to see how that plays out. Now, the risk here is that it will create worse conditions and negative brand experiences, especially if you go on a trip advised by one of these companies or the area links to you as a Zika safe destination, and God forbid something happens which is negative around pregnancy. So we do have an element as a responsibility within travel content and travel copy to shape this and really create a better trust handshake with users around this, and not just looking for the blind metrics, for blind clicks, the blind visibility within AI, especially around what is effectively a YMYL travel query because of the biological risk it carries for pregnant travelers and that risk that it can bring around that. So I'm very much open to discussing this data with anyone that wants to get in touch or get involved in this way. The blog post is up on the SALT, the research post, I should say, is up on the SALT website. And I'm happy to break down the methodology further, but this is something that the travel industry we need to look at, especially as we're approaching baby boom surges and alleviating worries and negativity with pregnant users in that way. So thank you very much for your time. And please do let me know in the comments if you have any questions. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, please do subscribe, or please do follow even the SALT LinkedIn page and consider subscribing to the SALT newsletter. If you're watching this on the SALT YouTube, again, please do consider hitting subscribe and ringing the bell for notifications. And please do let me know in the comments your thoughts. Happy to also pick this up on LinkedIn or by email if you have any thoughts. Thank you very much for your time.